Sevilla Football Club, S.A.D. Spanish pronunciation, se๊'viḷa ʻfuðvol ʻkluβ, or simply Sevilla, is Spain's oldest club solely devoted to football practice. Sevilla FC is based in Seville, capital and largest city of the autonomous community of Andalusia. Sevilla FC is one of the teams that play in Spain's top flight, La Liga. The club was formed on 25 January 1890, Scot Mr. Farquharson Johnston being their first president. A few years later, on October 14, 1905, the club's articles of association were registered in the Civil Government of Seville under the presidency of the Jerez-born José Luis Gallegos Arnosa. Sevilla FC is also the most successful club in Andalusia, winning a National League title in 1945-46, 5 Spanish Cups, 1935, 1939, 1948, 2007 and 2010, 1 Spanish Super Cup, 2007, 5 UEFA Cups, 2006, 2007, 2014, 2015 and 2016, and the 2006 UEFA Super Cup. They were also designated by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics as the world's best club in 2006 and 2007, thus being the first club to achieve this distinction in 2 consecutive years. Sevilla FC's main rivalry is with their cross-city rivals Real Betis de Sevilla. Matches between the two are referred to as Seville Derby. Its reserve side Sevilla Atlético, founded in 1958, currently play in the Segunda B League, and the club are affiliated to a side in Puerto Rico of the same name. Other clubs related to Sevilla FC include the women's team, futsal team and former Super League Formula team. The club's home ground is the 45,000-seat Ramón Sánchez Pizjuán Stadium. It is located in the neighborhood of Neville and owes its name to Mr. Sánchez Pizjuán, who was Sevilla FC's president for 17 years. Sevilla FC has contributed many players to the Spanish national football team throughout their history, Spencer being the first one in 1923. History. Foundation to Civil War. The practice of football was introduced in Seville at the end of the 19th century by the large British expatriate population in the city, composed by owners and managers of manufacturing companies based in the capital of Andalusia. Sevilla Football Club was founded on 25 January 1890 as Sevilla Football Club. In English, Sevilla was duly formed on 25 January 1890 while a group of young British, mainly Scots, along with other young men of Spanish origin, celebrated Burns Night in Seville. The club's founding document, published on the Dundee Courier's edition of 17 March 1890, describes in full detail the formation of the club and how those young founding members decided first to play under association rules, secondly to bear the word football within its name, and thirdly to elect their office bearers. The following paragraph is an extract of that article. Some 6 weeks ago, a few enthusiastic young residents of British origin met in one of the cafés for the purpose of considering a proposal that we should start an athletic association, the want of exercise being greatly felt by the majority of us, who are chiefly engaged in mercantile pursuits. After a deal of talk, and a limited consumption of small beer, the Club de Football de Sevilla was duly formed and office bearers elected. It was decided we should play association rules. We were about half and half Spanish and British. The club's first president was the Scot Mr. Farquharson Johnston, Elgin, the 14th of October 1854, who was the British vice-consul in Seville and co-proprietor of the firm McAndrews & Co., ship owners with commercial lines between Spain and the UK, one of them being the transport of Seville oranges. Hugh McColl, another Scottish young man. Glasgow, the 9th of June 1861. A marine engineer who at that time had moved to Seville to work as the technical manager of Portia White Foundry, was their first captain. One of McColl's partners in the Portia White Foundry in Seville, Isaiah White Jr., was the club's first secretary. He was the son of an English entrepreneur who founded the aforesaid company, one of the major foundries in Spain at the end of the 19th century. In order to celebrate the foundation of the club, Isaiah White sent a letter to Recreativo de ʻfuðvol to invite them to play a football match in Seville. That letter was published by the Spanish newspaper La Provincia. ʻfuðvol Recreation accepted the invitation and the match took place on 8 March 1890, being thus the first official match ever played in Spain. Sevilla FC won that historical match 2-0, with the first goal in an official match in Spanish football history scored by the Seville team. Player Isaiah lived at Calle Bailón 41 in Seville. The house still exists but has since been renumbered, making this the first home of Sevilla FC. In 1907, Sevilla Balompié was founded, followed by Betis Football Club in 1909. Recreativo de Sevilla and Español de Sevilla. More clubs were formed as the years passed and more competitive matches were organized between the teams. Although Sevilla FC, the oldest club of the city, imposed its supremacy over the other clubs in this early period. In 1912, the first Copa de Sevilla was played and won by Sevilla FC. From 1915 to 1932, the Copa Andalusia was organized by the Federación Sur, and these championships included Sevilla FC, Real Betis Balompié, Recreativo de ʻfuðvol, Español de Cádiz and the sporadic participation of Nacional de Sevilla and Córdoba. The domination of Sevilla was so evident that of the 19 championships of Andalusia played, 16 were won by the team, with the 3 remaining being won by Español de Cádiz, Recreativo de ʻfuðvol and Real Betis Balompié, respectively. In 1918, Sevilla FC participated in the Copa de España for the first time and became the first Andalusian team to reach the final round of the competition. In 1928, when the Campeonato Nacional, National League Championships, was organized, Sevilla FC was not part of the first division due to their defeat to Racing de Santander in an elimination game that was set up to decide which of the 2 teams would compete in the newly formed league. At the end of the 1933-34 season, Sevilla FC was promoted to the first division of the Campeonato Nacional. Quote, in 1935, they were proclaimed Campeón de Copa, Cup champions, for the first time by defeating Sabadell. Repeated in 1939 against Racing de Ferrol and again in 1948 against Celta de Vigo. The club participated in 2 other finals, but conceded defeat to Athletic Bilbao in 1955 and to Real Madrid in 1962. Sevilla remained in the first division from the 1933-34 season until 1967, when they were relegated to the second division, a tier from which they have never further been relegated from. The 1945-46 season was one of high importance in the history of Sevilla, as it marks the first, and to date only, time in which the team was league champions. On 4 other occasions, the club was proclaimed Subcampeón de Liga, league runner-up, 1939-40, 1942-43, 1950-51 and 1956-57. Including the present season, Sevilla has participated in the 65 seasons in the first division and 13 in the second division, never dropping below the second division. Sevilla has also participated in 4 European tournaments: the Copa de Europa, European League Winners' Cup, 1957-58. Recopa. Winners' Cup. 1962-63. And UEFA Cup on 9 occasions. 1966-67. 1970-71. 1982-83. 1983-84. 1990-91. 1995-96. 2004-05. 2005-06 and 2006-07. Sevilla also participated in the UEFA Champions League in 2007-08. There are more than 400 individuals who currently play for the Sevilla FC organization, which includes 2 semi-professional teams in Second Division A, second national category, and 12 youth teams. Sevilla has always counted on having international players within its ranks to aid in the pursuit of trophies. The first of these players were Spencer and Herminio in the 1920s. Juan Arza, an international player from the 1940s, was proclaimed top scorer of the Spanish League in the 1954-55 season, with 29 goals. About 30 Sevilla players have been chosen to play on the Selección Española, Spanish national team. Over the years, foreign players have always played an integral part in the success of Sevilla FC, with Diego Maradona representing the most well-known among them during his spell with the club during the 1992-93 season. During the same season, Sevilla FC was managed by Carlos Salvador Bilardo, a world champion manager. Historically, Sevilla FC has fielded teams in a variety of other sports including basketball, rugby, athletics, and halterophilia petanca. Presently, Sevilla FC counts 25 professional teams on its ledgers, one of these being in the second national category, and a women's football team in the honor division. Sevilla FC's stadium, the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, was inaugurated in 1958 and is one of the largest stadiums in Spain, and has the honor of hosting a World Cup semi-final match in 1982. After its final completion, the stadium had a maximum capacity of 75,000 spectators. But, since its latest remodeling, the stadium has been converted to an all-seat with a covering added to the main seating area, reducing the capacity to its current count of 45,000 spectators. First successors. Sevilla had their first spell of national success in the decade following the end of the Civil War, winning the 1945-46 La Liga title and 2 Copa del Rey titles. In the first season of this 1939-40, Sevilla won the Cup on 25 June, beating Racing de Ferrol 6-2 in Barcelona. That same season, the side lost the Liga title on the last day to Atletico Madrid after drawing 3-3 against Equals. The Sevilla forward line was known as Los Stuckers after the German bomber plane, and scored 216 goals over 4 seasons. It comprised López, Torontegui, Campanal, Raimundo, Berrical and Pepillo. In 1941, President Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan left the club to manage the Spanish Football Federation. After his departure, Antonio Sanchez Ramos temporarily occupied the position until the permanent appointment of Jerónimo Domínguez y Pérez de Vargas, Marquis of Contadero, who was president of the club for 6 years until the return of Sanchez Pizjuan. Sevilla was runner-up to Athletic Bilbao in the 1942-43 season and came third a season later. Sevilla won its only Liga title in 1945-46, edging FC Barcelona by 1 point. 2 years later, Sevilla won the 1948 Copa del Rey after beating Celta de Vigo 4-1 in Madrid on 4 July. The most significant signing of those years was the Spanish international striker Juan Arza. There was also the debut of the Campanal's nephew, defender Campanal II, with his uncle as trainer. During the 1950-51 season, with Campanal acting as the coach, the team finished runner-up in La Liga, 2 points behind Atletico Madrid. Before the 1953-54 season, Argentinian coach Helenio Herrera was hired. During his time in charge, the club came fifth in the 1953-54 season, fourth in both 1954-55 and 1955-56, and second to Real Madrid in 1956-57. In 1954, the club put the construction of the new stadium out to tender because Nervión Stadium was becoming too small for the club's fan base. In the 1954-55 season, Arza won the Pichichi Trophy as La Liga's top scorer, with 28 goals, and the team was runner-up in the Copa del Rey. In 1955, for the club's 50th anniversary, a triangular tournament was organized against the French club Stade de Reims and the Swedish club IFK Norrköping. Sevilla won. On 28 October 1956, President Sanchez Pizjuan died suddenly. As an appreciation to the deceased leader under whose chairmanship Sevilla had won 3 Copas del Rey, the fans decided that the club's planned new stadium was to be named in his honor. In the 1956-57 season, the team were Liga runners-up behind Real Madrid, ensuring qualification for the first time to the European Cup. Herrera left the club at the end of the season. The club needed a victory on the final day of the next season to avoid relegation, but reached the quarter-finals of the European Cup before being knocked out by holders and eventual champions Real Madrid. After the death of the president, Ramón de Carranza assumed the position for 4 years. It is said that he spoke these words at Sanchez Pizjuan's tomb: "Dear Ramón, now your friends, among who I am honored to be one, are going to give you Christian burial, and on the following day, giving your body to the ground, we will start working, and your dream that the Sevilla FC has a grand stadium will become a reality. Ramón, go in peace to heaven because your wishes will be fulfilled." Quote. Being true to his words, Carranza made obligation bonds amounting to 50 million pesetas, and a month and a half after Sanchez Pizjuan's death, the first stone in the stadium's construction was placed. The architect was Manuel Muñoz Monasterio, co-designer of the recently built Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, the home of Real Madrid. The Ramón Sánchez Pizjuan Stadium was ultimately opened on 7 September 1958 as Sevilla played an inaugural friendly against fellow Andalusian club Real de Acuten. The stadium's first official match was on the opening day of the 1958-59 season, where Sevilla beat Cross City Real Betis 4-2. Crisis and stability. In the 1970s, Sevilla was forced into selling its top players in order to pay off debts incurred from the construction of its new stadium. Manuel Ruiz Sosa transferred to Atletico Madrid, Gallegos to Barcelona, and Juan Batista Agüero to Real Madrid. Moreover, part of the adjacent land to the stadium was also sold to a bank. In the 1967-68 season, Sevilla returned to the second division for the first time in 31 years, but were promoted back after 1 season. The next season, Austrian coach Max Merkel, nicknamed Mr. Whip for his usage of severe and harsh discipline techniques and training, was hired. That season, the club finished third in the league. However, the club were relegated again at the end of the 1972-73 season. In 1973, Sevilla signed their first ever black player, Gambian winger Biri Biri, from Danish club Old Club in 1901. He remained at the club until 1978 and became a cult figure, with an ultra group named after him surviving to this day. In the 1974-75 season, with the Argentine Roque Olsen in charge, the club returned to the first division. In the late 1970s, Sevilla signed Argentinians such as Héctor Scotta and Daniel Bertoni. Directed first by Miguel Muñoz and later by Manolo Cardo, the team participated in 2 consecutive seasons of the UEFA Cup from 1981 to 1983. The 75th anniversary of the club was celebrated with a variety of social events and a match against Brazilian side Santos. In 1982, the World Cup was held in Spain and Sevilla's Ramon Sánchez Pizjuán was a venue. The semi-final match between West Germany and France. In 1984, Eugenio Montes Cabeza finished his 11-year presidency and was replaced by the cattle businessman Gabriel Rojas, who as the vice president had made several advancements to the club's stadium. In the 1985-86 season, Manolo Cardo left his management position after 5 years in charge, while Francisco played in the 1986 FIFA World Cup for Spain. Vicente Cantador led the club to UEFA Cup qualification at the end of the 1989-90 season, with Austrian forward Toni Polster scoring a club record 33 Liga goals. In the 1992-93 season, after several months of negotiations, world-renowned Argentine Diego Maradona signed from Napoli for a fee of $7.5 million. His time at the club, however, was unsuccessful, and he was released in large part due to his periodic injuries and clashes with coach Bilardo. In the following seasons, Luis Aragonés became manager and finished the 1994-95 season with qualification to next season's UEFA Cup. At the end of the 1994-95 season, despite the pleas of the club's directors, Sevilla, along with Celta de Vigo, were one of 2 clubs relegated from the top flight on reasons of administration, provoking action from fans. The action resulted in both Sevilla and Celta being reinstated to La Liga. These events led to an institutional instability, with the season seeing 4 presidents and 3 managers take charge. Sevilla were relegated at the end of the 1996-97 season but returned in 1999. At the beginning of the 21st century, the presidency of the club was assumed by the popular Roberto Alés. The situation of the club was very delicate at the time. The team had dropped back to the second division in 2000 and the squad was weakened by player retirements and the sales of key players. The club opted for a relatively unknown trainer, Joaquín Caparrós, who helped the team win the second division with 3 matches to spare and just his first season at the helm. Successes in the 21st century. In May 2002, Roberto Alés resigned as president and the Sevillian lawyer José María del Nido assumed the presidency. One of his first decisions was to confirm Caparrós as coach and Monchi as sporting director. On 6 October 2002, before a Seville derby against Betis at the Sánchez Pizjuán, 4 Sevilla fans, including a minor, assaulted a security guard. The attack was punished by Sevilla being forced to play the next 4 home matches behind closed doors, the longest term ever given to a La Liga side. The club finished in UEFA Europa Cup positions in both the 2003-04 and 2004-05 seasons before marking their centennial in late 2005. This set up Sevilla's first ever European triumph. The 2006 UEFA Cup final at the Philips Stadion in Eindhoven on 10 May 2006. The club defeated English club Middlesbrough 4-0 under new manager Juan Ramos, with the scoring opened by Brazilian striker Luis Fabiano. In the second half, Italian substitute Enzo Maresca scored twice to be named man of the match, where Malian striker Frédéric Canute finished the scoring. Sevilla opened their 2006-07 season by winning the 2006 UEFA Super Cup on 25 August 2006 with a 3-0 victory over Champions League winners and compatriots Barcelona at the Stade Louis II in Monaco. The goals were scored by Renato Canute and a late penalty by Maresca. The season ended with a second consecutive UEFA Cup win, this time against fellow Spanish club Espanyol at Hampden Park, Glasgow. The match went to penalties after finishing 2-2 after extra time, with Sevilla goalkeeper André Palip saving 3 of Espanyol's penalties. On 12 November 2006, Sevilla played its 2000th game in La Liga. In addition, Sevilla defeated Getafe in the 2007 Copa del Rey final, with Canute scoring the only goal in the game's 11th minute. Sevilla finished third in that season's La Liga to qualify for the 2007-08 Champions League. As a result of these successes, Sevilla was voted as the IFFHS Team of the Year for the second consecutive season, becoming the first club to achieve this. Sevilla won the 2007 Supercopa de España against La Liga champions Real Madrid. The season started to derail, however, after defender Antonio Puerta suffered a heart attack in the first game of the season and died 3 days later on 28 August. 3 days after his death, Sevilla then lost 3-1 to Milan in the 2007 UEFA Super Cup in Monaco. Juan Ramos, the individual largely responsible for Sevilla's recent successes, resigned as manager on 27 October to take the post with Tottenham Hotspur. He was replaced by Sevilla Atlético manager Manolo Jiménez. In spite of the personnel issues, Sevilla nonetheless advanced in first place in its Champions League group ahead of Arsenal before later being eliminated in the round of 16 via penalties to Fenerbahce of Turkey. In the summer of 2008, before Jimenez's debut season as first-team manager, Dani Alves and Seydou Keita were both sold to Barcelona, while Christian Poulsen left for Juventus. Sevilla finished third in La Liga with a club record equaling 21 victories and a club record number of away victories. The 2009-10 season saw a third consecutive qualification to the Champions League. On 19 May 2010, Sevilla defeated Atletico Madrid 2-0 in the 2010 Copa del Rey final at the Camp Nou, with goals from Diego Capel and Jesus Navas. Navas was later a World Cup winner with the Spain national team in July of that year. Before the 2010-11 season started, Sevilla lost to Barcelona 5-3 on aggregate in the Supercopa and were eliminated in the Champions League playoffs by Braga of Portugal. In 2013, due to an organizational financial crisis, the club was forced to sell team stars Alvaro Negredo and Jesus Navas, transactions that gave the club a combined €40 million. The duo was replaced by a contingent of younger players including strikers Carlos Bacca and Kevin Gameiro. On 14 May 2014, Sevilla defeated Benfica on penalties in the 2014 UEFA Europa League final to claim their third triumph in the competition. The following year, key midfielder Ivan Rakitic was sold to Barcelona for around €16 million and top scorer Carlos Bacca, who had only joined 2 years previous, moved to Milan for €30 million. Despite this, the club acquired players Gallegos, Krikowiak and Ever Banega to reinforce the squad. On 27 May 2015, Sevilla repeated as Europa League champions after defeating Ukrainian club Dnipropetrovsk 3-2 in the 2015 final. In defeating Dnipro, they became the only club to have won the Europa League 4 times. The club returned to the Europa League final for a third consecutive time, facing Liverpool in the 2016 final. After being down 1-0 at half-time, Sevilla bounced back in the second half to eventual win 1-3. with 1 goal scored from Kevin Gameiro and 2 from club captain Coke. The game, however, was marred in controversy after the linesman raised his flag in the lead-up to the 3rd goal. With the 3rd consecutive Europa League title, Sevilla improved their record of most Europa League titles won, now having lifted the trophy 5 times in the span of only 10 years. Despite Sevilla's continued success in the Europa League, the 2015-16 season proved to be another finish out with the top 4, the side finishing in 7th. In response, Carmona decided to engineer a resurrection of the club. Jorge Sampaoli was hired as manager, replacing Paris Saint-Germain bound Unai Emery, and the club began to invest heavily that summer. Additions to the side included goalkeeper Salvatore Sirigu on loan, playmaker Ganzo, forwards Luciano Vieto and Wissam Ben Yedder, attacker Franco Vázquez, wide midfielders Hiroshi Kiyotaki and Pablo Sarabia, as well as former Arsenal and Manchester City player Samir Nasri on loan. Board and finances. Presidency. Sevilla is governed by a presidential management system, but with a board of directors that discusses and approves those important decisions that must be carried out. The president is supported by a general director and a sport director. Throughout its history, Sevilla have had 29 presidents, the first being Edward Farquharson Johnston, a Scotsman. Those who have occupied the presidency for the longest periods have been Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, Eugenio Montes Cabezas, Luis Cuervas Vilches and José María del Nido Benavente. In 1992, Sevilla became a sporting limited association, following the entry into force of the law that regulated them, and therefore the system of election of the president was amended from being elected by the members to be elected by the shareholders of the club. Shareholders Meeting Report. Sevilla FC, on 10 December 2009, held its general meeting of shareholders in which a budget of revenue and expenditure for the 2009-10 season was announced at €95.5 million. President José María del Nido reported that the current debt of the club is €34 million and that the 2008-09 season closed with a positive balance for almost €16 million due to income generated through player transfers. The club's own funds amounted to €44.5 million. Ownership. Sevillistas de Nervión S.A. José María del Nido, Roberto Alés, José Castro, José Martín Barrena, Francisco Guillaro, and José Gómez Minin, Rafael Carrion Moreno, José María del Nido Benavente. Main individual shareholder, Sevilla FC Fan Clubs Federation, San Fernando. Symbols. Anthems. Sevilla has 2 official anthems. Official anthem of Sevilla FC. This anthem dates back to the year 1983. The lyrics were written by Angel Luis Osquigilla de Roncoles and the music was composed by Manuel Osquigilla de Roncoles. Centennial Anthem of Sevilla FC. Composed in 2005 by singer Javier La Bandinella Robato for the club's centennial. It became Spain's #1 single and the second highest selling anthem of a Spanish football club. It was also Spain's second highest single of 2006. On 9 October 2005, in the Estadio Pizjuan, Ella Robato was awarded the Golden Record for sales for the Centennial Anthem crest. From its foundation, the team used a double-circled crest. On the exterior circle, the name of the club and the date of its foundation were written, while in the interior circle on a white background the letters SFC were interlaced as they are on the current crest. This first crest was designed by Juan Lafita, who was a close associate of the club and was the son of the Sevillian painter José Lafita y Blanco. The second crest was designed in 1922 by Pablo Rodriguez Blanco, a draftsman of the water company. He divided the shield in 3 parts and together they formed the silhouette of a heart. The 3 figures that appear are the Christian saints portrayed on the coat of arms of the city: Isidore of Seville, Ferdinand III of Castile and Leander of Seville. On the right side appear the initials SFC, which were on the official shield from 1905 to 1922, where the 3 parts meet. A football of the era appears. Regarding the red and white stripes there are various theories, but it seems that the most coherent is that from the first time, the club wished that the official kit would be red and white. Another version indicates that the lower part is inspired on the flag which King Ferdinand III of Castile carried in the reconquest of Seville in 1248. Flag. The definition of Sevilla's flag is in the Articles of Association of 1982, which is a modification of the old ones which were formed and deposited in the record of associations and sports federations of the Higher Council of Sports. Its Title I, Article 6 states that this is a distinctive emblem of the club. The flag, which will be rectangular, divided by a diagonal line that goes from the lower left angle to the upper right angle, which divides it in 2 triangles. The superior is white and the inferior red. Kit. Sevilla wore sponsored shirts for the first time in the 1986-87 season, to promote the Seville Expo 92. Previously, before the 1980-81 season, the club signed its first kit manufacturing deal with the German firm Adidas. The kit is being produced by New Balance for the 2016-17 season. Media. Sevilla have several media outlets. Its radio station, SFC Radio, launched in September 2004, broadcasts all day on FM and online, while its television channel SFC TV aired for the first time in the 2005-06 season with a UEFA Cup match against Zenit St. Petersburg. Since the 8th of June 2009, the television coverage has been shown on the club website. Sevilla issue a physical and digital newspaper the day after every match and on the same day as an important one, as well as a magazine before home games. The official magazine of the club is released every 2 months, the first issue being free and issued at a friendly against the Brazil national team to mark the club's centennial in September 2005. Players. Current squad. As of 31 January 2017. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Managers. Sevilla's current manager is Jorge Sampaoli. Previously the coach of the Chile national team. Sevilla's previous manager was Unai Emery, who led them to 3 consecutive UEFA Europa Leagues in 2014, 2015 and 2016, and left the club in June 2016. Sevilla's first trophy-winning manager was Ramon Encinas, who won its first Copa del Rey in 1935 and league title in 1945-46. In 2 separate institutions. Juan Ramos, manager from 2005 to 2007, won the club's first 2 UEFA Cups in 2005 and 2006. The club's first foreign manager was Irishman Charles O'Hagan from 1923 to 1924. The hiring of Sampaoli, an Argentine, marks the club's first non-Spanish manager since 1997, when the Argentine Carlos Bilardo left the club. Coaching staff. 2016. Former coaches. See also category. Sevilla FC managers. Facilities. Stadium. In their first 50 years Sevilla played their home matches in various locations around Seville.
La Trinidad Field, the Mercantile Field, La Victoria Stadium and the Estadio de Nervión. The Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium was first planned in 1937 when land was bought near to the then home of Sevilla, in Nervión, and construction began in 1954. A contest was held for its design, won by the architect Manuel Muñoz Monasterio, who had also designed the home of Real Madrid, the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. The construction of the stadium was completed in the summer of 1958 and was inaugurated on 7 September of the same year with the friendly match against Real Betis. The east and west grandstands to the stadium were finished in 1974 under the presidency of Eugenio Montes Cabezas and increased the stadium's capacity to 70,000. The visor, the mosaic on the main facade, by Santiago del Campo, and the new lighting were added for the 1982 FIFA World Cup, in which it held a group game between the Soviet Union and Brazil, as well as a semi-final between France and West Germany. The 1986 European Cup final was held in the stadium, and won by Steaua Bucuresti against Barcelona. In addition, the capacity of the stadium was reduced to approximately 60,000. The last modification was made during the mid-1990s, when according to FIFA rules, all standing areas were redeveloped into seating, reducing the capacity to the present 45,500. The Spain national team have played 26 matches in the stadium since 1961. Unbeaten with 21 wins and 5 draws. To mark the club's centenary in 2005, an allegorical mosaic designed by Ben Youssef was built above the southern gate, depicting the history of the city of Seville. Above it, the club's badge floated in the wind. The stadium currently houses the headquarters of the club's media, as well as an official store, club museum and trophy cabinet. Training facilities. The sporting facilities known as La Ciudad Deportiva, the sporting city, are used by the first team for training and by the reserve teams and women for matches. These facilities were inaugurated in 1974 and are located in the outskirts of the city on the road to Utrera. It has 4 natural grass pitches and 3 artificial pitches, as well as an artificial pitch for the Antonio Puerta Football School. Changing rooms, gymnasium, press room, cafeteria, medical center and a recovering room. League record. Since the club was first promoted to La Liga in the 1934-35 season, Sevilla has played all but 7 seasons in the first division. Sevilla won La Liga in the 1945-46 season and was runner-up 4 times: 1939-40, 1942-43, 1950-51 and 1956-57. While the club has only suffered 4 short-lived descents to the Segunda Division, it has won the second division title on 2 separate occasions: 1968 1969 and 2000-2001. European competition record. 1 group stage. Highest ranked eliminated team in case of qualification. Lowest ranked qualified team in case of elimination. Honors. Throughout its history, Sevilla has won trophies at regional, national and European levels, and is the most successful club in Andalusia. Sevilla was given permanent possession of the Copa del Rey after its 2010 victory, to celebrate Spain winning the 2010 FIFA World Cup. National tournaments. La Liga. Winners. 1. 1945-46. Copa del Rey. Winners. 5. 1935, 1939, 1947-48, 2006-07, 2009-10. Supercopa de España. Winners. 1. 2007, Segunda Division. Winners. 4. 1929, 1933-34, 1968-69, 2001. European tournaments: UEFA Cup, UEFA Europa League. Winners: 5. Record: 2005-06, 2006-07, 2013-14, 2014-15, 2015-16. UEFA Super Cup. Winners: 1. 2006. Regional tournaments: Copa Andalusia. Winners: 18. 1916-17, 1918-19, 1919-20, 1920-21, 1921-22, 1922-23, 1923-24, 1924-25, 1925-26, 1926-27, 1928-29, 1929-30, 1930-31, 1931-32, 1932-33, 1935-36, 1938-39, 1939-40. Friendly tournaments: Antonio Puerta Trophy. Winners: 4. 2008, 2009, 2011, 2012. Runners-up: 1. 2010. Ramon de Carranza Trophy. Winners: 6. 1955, 1956, 1957, 2004, 2008, 2009. Runners-up: 3. 1958, 1981, 1994. Costa del Sol Trophy. Winners: 2. 1964, 2004. Runners-up: 2. 1961, 1979. Achillean Cesare Bortolotti Trophy. Winners: 1. 2010. Ciudad de la Línea Trophy. Winners: 3. 2001, 2002, 2003. Teresa Herrera Trophy. Winners: 4. 1946, 1954, 1960, 2011. Colombino Trophy. Winners: 4. 1975, 1985, 1996, 2005. Runners-up: 3. 1967, 1991, 1997. City of Seville Trophy. Winners: 7. 1972, 1973, 1976, 1978, 1982, 1984, 1994. Russian Railways Cup. Winners: 1. 2008. Trofeo de la Sal. Winners: 1. 2010. Antonio Camacho Memorial. Winners: 1. 2012. Costa Brava Trophy. Winners: 1. 2012. Supercopa Euroamericana. Runners-up: 1. 2015. Other awards and recognitions: Medal of Andalusia, 2005, issued by the Junta de Andalusia. Best Team of the World in 2006 and 2007 according to the International Federation of Football History and Statistics, IFFHS. Best Team as voted by the Federation of Sports Journalists of Andalusia, 2006. Prize for the Best Team of 2006 according to the Spanish Sports Press Association. In January 2007, Sevilla were awarded with the 15th Communication Award granted by the Seville Press Association. Royal Order of Sports Merit, granted by the Superior Council of Sports. Gold Medal of the Royal Chamber of Commerce for Economic Administrative Management. Gallery. Individual trophies. Pichichi Trophy. 1. Juan Oza, 1955. Zara Trophy. 2. Alvaro Negredo, 2011, 2013. Team records. Updated to July 2010. General information. Most goals scored in league competition. Most goals against in league competition. Statistics in European competitions. The debut of Sevilla in European competitions took place in the 1957-58 season as a participant in that season's European Cup. Despite finishing runner-up in the league to Real Madrid, Sevilla represented Spain in the competition as Real had already qualified by winning the European Cup the season before. M equals matches. W equals won. D equals drawn. L equals lost. GS equals goals scored. GAR equals goals against. GD equals goal difference. Player records. Top scorers in the history of the club. Top scorers in the history of the club up to 2010-11. Most official appearances. Affiliated teams. Sevilla's B team, Sevilla Atlético, was founded in 1958 and currently plays in the Segunda B, the third tier of Spanish football. Graduates from it to Sevilla's first team include Sergio Ramos and Jesus Navas. Members of the Spain squad which won the 2010 World Cup and UEFA Euro 2012. Sevilla FC, founded in 2003, compete in the fourth tier of Spanish football, the Tercera Division, having risen with 4 consecutive promotions from provincial and regional leagues. Sevilla's women's team play in the top flight of Spanish women's football, the Superliga, and currently play their home games at the club's training ground, Ciudad Deportiva José Ramón Cisneros Palacios. Sevilla acquired the women's club from S.A.D Hispales in 2004, and the club had its greatest success in the 2005-06 season, when it came runner-up in the Superliga and the National Cup. Since its foundation for the 2007-08 season, the Spanish Indoor Football League has included a Sevilla veterans team. Sevilla FC Puerto Rico, of Juncos, is a Puerto Rican football club of the Puerto Rico Soccer League. The side affiliated to Sevilla in 2008, and share a similar badge and kit. Since 2008, Sevilla has been one of 2 Spanish clubs, the other being Atletico Madrid, to compete in Super League Formula, in which cars endorsed by professional football clubs compete in races across the world. The Sevilla Betis Regatta is an annual rowing competition in Seville's Guadalquivir River, held since 1960. Different categories of boats represent Sevilla and its cross-city rival Real Betis. Sevilla have won on 30 of the 47 regattas. Support. Fans. According to research from the Center of Sociological Investigations, CIS, in May 2007, Sevilla is the 8th most supported club in Spain with 2.3% of the nation's football fans, compared to 32.8% for the most popular Real Madrid. Their city rivals Real Betis possess 3.3% of the nation's support. Since Sevilla became Sporting Limited Association, the concept of membership disappeared. Only the shareholders can take part in the decisions of the club according to the percentage of the capital that they hold. The minority shareholders of the club are organized in a federation that represents them in the general meeting of shareholders that the club celebrates every year. People who are traditionally referred to as members are currently fans who purchase a yearly season ticket which allows them to attend all home matches that season. Sometimes these members enjoy some specific advantages over the rest of the fans. Fan clubs. Sevilla's fan clubs are mainly concentrated in the city of Seville, its province and the rest of Andalusia. The presence of fan clubs in other autonomous communities is greatest in Catalonia and Extremadura. Most of them are integrated into the San Fernando Fan Clubs Federation. Federación de Peñas Sevillistas San Fernando, which, according to its statutes, is totally independent from the directive board of the club, having its own board and not being intervened. Ultras. The Virus Norte is an organized group of ultra supporters located in the north grandstand of the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. The group's name comes from the Gambian player Alhaji Momodo Njale.
nicknamed Biri Biri, who became very popular amongst the Sevilla fans in the 1970s. The Virus Norte was created in the 1974-75 and is one of the oldest groups of ultrafans in Spain. Rivalries. Sevilla compete in the Seville derby against their cross-city rivals Real Betis. The two played each other for the first time on 8 October 1915 in a match won 4-3 by Sevilla. The game is considered as one of the most important derbies in Spanish football. European record. European Cup, UEFA Champions League, UEFA Cup, UEFA Europa League, UEFA Super Cup, European Cup Winners' Cup, Intercities Fairs Cup. Official websites. Official website. Spanish. English. Sevilla FC at La Liga. English. Spanish. Sevilla FC at UEFA. English. Spanish.